So this is part 2 of my How I'm Not a Nerd in Medical School video. This one's going to be more about my actual life in med school. If you watched the previous one, long story short is that I built a very good foundation on top of mastering all the science and math classes at my high school. I also read medical chemistry and biological studies and case reports every single day, along with reading human journals of people's drug use, because I'm a medical person. I like to learn about how the human body works, and not just from one source, not just from two sources. If people are going to be out there doing stupid things, doing random things, maybe they're doing smart things, but whatever they're doing which interacts with the human body, I want to learn about it. Maybe not the best way to have started this video, but yeah, I made sure to learn from every possible source. So like a lot of people, maybe they did the same thing I did with their high school classes, but they weren't reading hours of medical studies and chemistry studies and biology studies every single day. And if they were doing that, they probably weren't also reading people's drug use reports on the internet to see how these oftentimes untested drugs are interacting with the human body, and then looking at the chemical structure and comparing it with something else, and thinking about how the modifications alter the drug. And yeah, I built and I studied every single human I ever came into contact with in my life. That's something nobody seems to think of. Somehow you got people that love science, they love medicine, but someone they know gets sick, and they don't even ask them, "Oh, can you tell me about it? Like, how is your throat? How is your lungs? How is your head feeling? Is your urine any different? Like, oh, you're taking that. What medication are you taking? Oh, how much are you taking it? But oh, how often are you taking it? Do you think it's working? Do you feel anything?" You go through life, and you have all these opportunities to learn, and most people just go through life in a retard mental state. Don't say you love medicine if you ignore when people around you have stuff going on with their bodies that you can learn from. Because if you're not naturally interested in that, you don't love medicine. You love the idea of being a doctor, or you love the idea of making money, or you love the idea of making your parents proud. But if you are not drawn to people that have medical problems and you want to learn everything about it, you are not a doctor. It's like, I cannot say I'm a wine connoisseur just because I buy a bottle of wine. Oh yeah, it tastes good. I'm not buying lots of different wines, tasting them all side by side, blindfolding myself, sniffing them, because it's not me. I'll never try to say that I'm a true wine connoisseur. I'm not going to say I'm an artist. If I went to art school, I'm not going to go, "Oh yeah, I'm an artist. I have a degree in arts. It says that I'm now a master blaster of disaster." Yeah. But let's get more on topic. So, I'll let you decide if I am a nerd in medical school. My day consists of, because it's mandatory, going to class. Because it's mandatory. Sadly, I sleep through all my class. Well, not 100% of the time, but most of the time. If I'm not talking with the professor, I'm sleeping with the professor. Not actually sleeping with him, I'm just joking. Trying to be funny. But yeah, I'm sleeping if I'm not talking. But then after class, I guess you could say generally, because it's more days than not, then I go to MMA. I spend 40 minutes commuting there, and then I do it for an hour, usually, and I spend 40 minutes commuting back. That's a good amount of time. That's like 2.5 hours. Actually, it's a little bit more than 2.5 hours. It ends up being generally close to even 3 hours. Just, there's little things you do. It's not like you just magic. That's like, things take longer than the actual, like, I'll commute there, and I'll be going, wow, it sure doesn't seem like it takes 40 minutes to go from here to there. And if I were to add up the time on the train, add up the time walking, actually it does all add up. But it's like when you do it, it doesn't seem as long and people would underestimate. But yeah, 40 minutes, 1 hour. But then I like wrap up the things if I was boxing, changing my clothes, maybe get a protein drink, and then come back. So that's a good chunk of time. And then many days out of the week, I go to the gym. Luckily, the gym is very close to me. I spend a different amount of time there every time. Maybe I plan on just doing some biceps really quick and coming home. Maybe I do that, but maybe I get in there and I'm like, oh, I want to do some shoulders. Well, now I feel like doing some lats. May as well do some squats. That's how I am once I get in the gym. I'm probably going to stay in there for a while. So I go to MMA and I go to the gym. If you combine them, that's at least every day. But I do take some days off to recover because I don't want to just get injured. And on the weekends, like tonight, it's a Friday. I went to MMA today. And tonight, I'm going to go out and hang out with friends, go drinking. Last Friday, I stayed out until 4:30 in the morning. Even though I had salmonella poisoning with a 103.9 degree fever, 39.9 degrees Celsius, and I had diarrhea for several days, I took a loperamide. Where is it? I took a loperamide to paralyze my intestines so I could go to MMA that day. Actually, then I went to the gym afterwards, and then I hung out until... So I went to MMA probably like 4 o'clock. Then I went to the gym, and then I stayed out until 4:30 in the morning. I'd say that's not nerd activity. Every weekend I hang out with my wife. We just spend our time together watching TV, walking around, doing stuff. I finally got my classmates to do something. We're going to go paintballing tomorrow, but my classmates usually, they're like, I don't have enough time to walk home, which takes 20-25 minutes. I'm going to take the metro. Me, I walk as much as I possibly can. Now, you're not supposed to do this, but even if I'm going to be late, I often just walk and I'll decide to be late anyways. But if I walk to class, that takes me 25 minutes. And then if I walk back, that's another 25 minutes. And then we have classes in different areas, and I walk. And sometimes we have, well, not currently, but for most of this current year, we had like a 30-minute break. So then I would walk for 30 minutes. See, I spend a good amount of my time walking. But I feel like this video is just going all over the place. But now you're getting not just how I'm not a nerd, but day in the life of a non-nerd medical student. It really just consists of putting the bare minimum amount of time into medical school and spending as much time as possible at MMA, in the gym, with my wife, and hanging out, having fun. And I know far more than all my classmates. If you're watching this, sorry, but it's the truth. I know you probably know 1 or 2 things that I don't know, but I know like 1,000 that you don't know. Like the other day, we were talking, and one of the classmates talks about how she was surprised that she got injectable diclofenac at the pharmacy. It's normally gel, Voltaren gel. And I'm thinking, what, does your elbow hurt? Like just this general area. Maybe she has some tendonitis. So I'm thinking, oh, where did you inject it? Did you do it in your arm? And she goes, no, you can only inject it in your glute. No, you can't. You can inject it anywhere in your body as long as you don't hit a nerve. And then several classmates were telling me how, no, that can cause paralysis. Did you not just hear me say you can inject it anywhere in your whole body as long as you don't hit a nerve? Paralysis happens for a reason. It doesn't just happen out of thin air. Your muscles in other parts of your body don't have some innate property of causing paralysis. It's actually due to hitting a nerve in a certain spot. Like the one that's right there. I also would not inject it into a tendon. You can, but the expansion of the tendon is going to cause some mechanical damage, and tendons heal pretty slow, so it's probably not a good idea. So stick to the center of the muscle belly, or at least don't do it in the first fourth. Probably try to get at least a third of the way down. But yeah, let me try to get more on topic here. You're not allowed to drink in class. So I don't drink in class. I was once asked if I drink while I study, and I was about to say yes, and then I remembered that they call your time in class studying. So, oh no, I only drink at home. While I study at home a little bit. And how much do I study? Well, as my wife said, I'll say it in first person as if I'm her. I've never seen someone study so little. It's like you study for 10 minutes and that's all. Well, yes, that is all. Most 99% of the time. It's like she'll be here and I'm like, I gotta study now. And I go, I sit behind my computer and I come back 5-10 minutes later and she goes, is that all? I go, I'll study a little bit more. And I'm like touching her and stuff because I like to touch her. She's beautiful. She's my wife. I like to touch her. She's like, go study. You need to study. And I go back. I study for 5 more minutes. I'm like, okay, let's eat some steak. Let's go walk around. Now, you don't need to study that much if you have a great understanding already and you got a lot of knowledge from a lot of various different sources and you got a good brain. This video is turning into just how my life in medical school is. But a key thing I do, I mentioned at the end of my other video, is that I do not waste my time studying if my brain is not in study mode. If my brain is not as clear as it could be, I don't spend my time studying. If right now I'm feeling kind of brain dead, and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta do some studying. No, I don't need to do some studying. I can do some drinking. Well, I can do some drinking and some studying. That's what I tend to do. But the point is, spend your time appropriately. If your mind is not in its best of states for studying, do something else. Wake up the next day. Study when your brain is better. Eat good food. Be healthy. Exercise, eat well, and your brain will work well. Get enough sleep. People are stupid. They don't get enough sleep. They think, oh, I'm going to stay up all night studying. Great. You can be a retard and stay up all night studying and know nothing. I will spend 20 minutes, get 8 hours of sleep, and do way better than you. But I'm going to make a short another video. I don't even know if I'm going to post these videos because they're just kind of rants about my life in school. Long story short, my foundation, I went very hard. Worked really hard. But the beauty is, once you do that, you can relax. Because no matter what class you do, no matter what medical study you read, most likely, you're never going to be presented with all new information if you already know a lot. My classmates, for example, they don't know a lot. So if they go to a class, that's all new stuff for them. Yeah, that's difficult. You gotta do what I did in high school. You gotta actually study. Me, I go to a class. Hopefully I'm awake when they present the one new thing. There's usually like 1, maybe 2 new things per class that I didn't already know. Oftentimes it's just terminology, but sometimes it's something actually useful. And it may only be like a few words, but it's like, I didn't know that before, so I'm glad I know it now. But I only have to remember a very, very small amount of stuff from each of my classes. That makes it pretty easy. You don't need to be a nerd if you only have to remember. The thing is, I don't even have to remember because it just naturally incorporates into my overall knowledge. Because Because when you have good enough overall knowledge, you don't have to mindlessly memorize stuff. You hear a little something that you didn't know before, and instantly it clicks in your head. You understand it. It's, I don't know, it's like you got a bunch of sticky balls, then a big old mass, and you got another sticky ball, and you just toss it at it. It's only one, it's a little one, but you toss it at the big mass of sticky balls, and it sticks. If you don't have any of those sticky balls, you throw that little one, it just flies right through. There's nothing to stick to. It doesn't get incorporated into anything. I know it's not a perfect analogy because it's like, well, how do you build up that? You got to throw them at the same time at each other. Point is, when you have a really good understanding and you hear a little bit of new something, you don't have to try to memorize it. You just know it now. This is my alcohol collection here. My fruit and vegetable collection. I just ate some salmon. Remember, you gotta eat healthy. Got some grechka. And, yeah, that's life of a non-nerd medical student.